Hoosiers helping Hoosiers across central Indiana. These are our friends and neighbors on 95.5 WFMS.
Good Sunday morning. It's Jim Denny here for our Friends and Neighbors program that we join you each and every week at this time. And we have a very special guest that's joining us here. It's Amanda Clark Wall, and I know her because I've known her since her birth. So that was, 20 years ago? Is that right, Amanda?
Yeah, just about.
Well, she has a fascinating story. She's actually the daughter of some good friends of mine, Tony and Kathy, who I've known for many, many years. And, your life has been just filled with trials and tribulations that you turn things around and have helped so many people with some of the trials and the tribulations of this. But let's start off because when you were in college and you met your soon-to-be husband, Joe.
Yeah, it's a wild story, and to think that you kind of can go from the fairy tale to kind of a fight or flight mode, and we've definitely been through it all. But I met my husband, Joe Clark, in college. Like all good love stories, I was dating his roommate, and from there we kind of went on to reconnect later in life, and I was working as a TV news reporter, and he was opening up some businesses in Florida, and we reconnected, and kind of the rest was history. And we started dating and building our lives together in Orlando, and soon got married. And we had a lot of really beautiful and exciting things to look forward to when we got the really unfortunate news that he had been diagnosed with colon cancer.
Okay, so you had moved down to, like you said, to Orlando, and he came down at the same time. Were you dating that, or was that just
Yeah.
You were okay?
No, it was wild. It was like he was moving down there, and I was trying to, how this market goes. I was trying to get jobs anywhere to move my way up and applying everywhere, and I happened to get a job in Orlando, Florida, as he was also moving there, and it was like the stars were aligned, and fate took over. So we both started a life in Orlando, and it was very exciting, and started planning our wedding soon after.
Right. And of course, how long was it before he was that you guys had been together, that he was diagnosed with colon cancer?
Yeah, we were together about 2.5 years, and we were 2 months away from our wedding, and he was just turning 28, which is wild. And we were heading into wedding mode when he started having some pretty severe stomach pains, and took him to the hospital in the middle of the night. And, things shifted very quickly from me thinking he had just had something bad to eat to scans and the worried looks on doctors' faces as they came in and told him at 28 years old that he had stage 3 colon cancer, and that there was a giant mass in his colon.
Well, I know it's impossible to put into words, but what goes through your mind at that point? Are you thinking to yourself, I'm mad at everybody, I'm mad at God, this isn't right, this shouldn't happen, we had a life, it's going on, it's a fairy tale. What goes through your mind?
I didn't feel old enough to handle any of it. I felt like, where's my mom? Like, I don't know what to do. What does all this mean? As they come in to talk all these medical terms. And I remember very distinctly a nurse coming in and saying, "Are you his caregiver?" And I kind of looked around looking for someone who was old, because I was like, no, I'm not his caregiver. I'm his hot fiance. And I wasn't identifying as that at all. And it's kind of what led to everything in our mission later, because I just was thrown into a world that was so unfamiliar, and I felt so alone as my friends were dating and traveling and going to Europe, and we were suddenly in a hospital room, and our whole world and lives stopped in that moment, which was a pretty isolating feeling.
Yeah, because like you said, your mom was back here in Indiana, and you're down there. So what was your next move then? I mean, did you just decide, okay, I'm not going to have someone come in and be a caregiver. I have to do this. I've got to go step up to the plate and make this happen. Did you then quit your job? Because obviously being a reporter takes a lot of time, and I remember seeing you on TV down there. Your hours were either really early in the morning or late at night. I mean, did you have to quit and just I'm staying home with him?
Yeah, I mean, I did the best I could for a long time, and we had family fly in and help and friends, but I was the caregiver even down to coordinating his appointments and medications and, trying to keep him in good spirits as a young man facing this. And so I did the best I could for a very long time, until it got to be too much. And I did end up leaving my job as a TV reporter to be with him. And just, I'm very thankful I did, especially for the time that we got. But, during that time when everything felt so lonely and I really didn't feel like I had anywhere to turn or where to tell my story, that's when we started our blog, Cocktails and Chemo. And Cocktails and Chemo was kind of a play on because we had gone from these martini cocktail dates to chemotherapy. And I just needed somewhere to write our story. And I think from being a news reporter, telling stories was what I knew. And so I just kind of took my own story and I started sharing it. And the more that we shared and the more authentic and real we were, the more that we started connecting with all these people from all across the country who were like, whoa, I'm going through this too. Or, I'm young and facing this. I don't like being a caregiver. I didn't know anyone else felt like this. And all of a sudden we had this little following on this blog called Cocktails and Chemo. And Joe would write from the perspective of the patient, and I would write from the perspective of a young caregiver and new wife. And it just kind of grew from there and took on its own voice.
We're talking with Amanda Clark-Wall, who is now with the Cocktails and Caregivers, because it's changed, and we'll talk about that in just a second or two there. But did you find that that obviously it was therapeutic to put it down on with letters and hearing stuff back from other people that were really kind of going through the same thing? I mean, did that help with the loneliness?
Oh, absolutely. I felt like at least I could find some unity online, and there's no one that you can reach out to more than those folks in the middle of the night that are also up worrying and not able to sleep. And so, we formed some online support groups around it. And some of the people that I talked to all the way through his treatments and till the end were complete strangers that I'd met online from the blog and from starting this little community of people who just were looking for that connection. So, oh yeah, it saved me in a very dark time, having a place to put it.
Right. Now, of course, we ought to, obviously Joe did pass away. But before that happened, you had a little addition to the family with Mira Joey.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, I retell the story, and sometimes I feel like, man, how did we survive that? My husband Joe had gotten about a year of clean scans. Like, they don't always say remission anymore, but clean scans. And so we were trying to have a baby, and we found out we were pregnant. We were over the moon, so happy. And about 3 weeks later, he has a bad scan, and blood work comes back and says the cancer's back. And the cancer's not just back, it's everywhere. And so we spent the majority of our pregnancy flying back and forth between Orlando and Houston, Texas, MD Anderson, back up to Indianapolis, here where my family is, and we were trying to get in trials here and just doing everything we could to prolong his life and get him to the day that our daughter would be born. And so our daughter was born December 19th, 2013, and we named her Mira, short for like Miracle, and her middle name is Joey after her dad, Mira Joey. And so it was incredible that, her dad was able to be there, and just the love he had and how much he fought, to be able to be a dad and see those moments. And so he was with her in those early crazy baby days, and he fought really hard until November of 2014. Mira was 11 months old when he passed away. And so there suddenly I was, I'm 31 years old. I have no job anymore. I have nowhere near my family. I've lost my husband, and I have this 11-month-old baby looking up at me, and I kind of had to crusade or crumble. And in those moments, when you've got those little eyes looking at you, like, crumble's not really an option. And so every day since then has just been about finding our new way and honoring my late husband and her dad, Joe, and also giving a voice to caregivers, because I was very aware that it was a very underserved an invisible group of people. And it's been kind of my survival since then, is everything we do with the nonprofit to help caregivers know that they are not alone and that they can survive this.
Yeah. So then you moved back to Indiana finally, and but you continue with Cocktails and Chemo, but then it transformed, because I know I went to a couple of events that you had, which are just great with people helping each other. But it changed over to Cocktails and Caregivers, and you kind of got into talking with people, well, that were going through that and have gone through that and felt alone. Yeah, tell me a little bit more about the program and how it works.
Yeah, so, Cocktails and Chemo was very much Joe and I's story. And, as we were doing those cocktail dates into chemotherapy, and it's where we started. It was our blog. It was everything. But gosh, as we started doing these events for caregivers and being out, we'd meet caregivers that didn't necessarily identify with the word chemo. Maybe they weren't cancer caregivers. They were ALS. They were mothers with children with severe disabilities. They were husbands caring for wives. And it was just such a different background that I felt like, gosh, I feel like chemo is keeping some people from us. And I know they need us. And I know that while we all face different diagnoses and different journeys, at the root of how they all are feeling, that like loneliness and isolation, is universal. Mm-hmm. And so I just felt like it was time to transfer Joe and I's story of Cocktails and Chemo to Cocktails and Caregivers. And so the foundation, we changed our name a couple years ago, which was crazy and emotional, but also felt like the time to turn the page in like a really beautiful way. And so what we do is we do kind of three main things for caregivers. We send care packages to caregivers all across the country. So anyone that is nominated on our website receives a care package. We also host some really cool events for caregivers where we can have a luncheon for them. We take over a salon. We do anything that we can think of where caregivers can meet other caregivers and also fill their cup, take a moment for them, a moment of respite. And then the third thing we do is we give some big dollar grants to families and caregivers to help them pay for their travel. As I mentioned, Joe and I were traveling back and forth for treatments, and holy cow, I mean, it was so expensive. Yes. It financially and mentally, it almost broke us. And so we give grants to caregivers to allow them to stay in a hotel nearby, pay for Ubers, get a rental car, eat at the food court, whatever they need to do to be with their loved one and take some of that financial burden off of them. And that's my favorite thing we do, because I know the impact that we're making.
Well, how do I know you have some events, and I've been lucky enough to attend them too, which is also cool because you have a lot of the people that are across the country, for that matter, that are part of the caregivers that come and they visit. You guys interact and you have a good night. You have a lot of fun with a great band too. I'll go ahead, your dad's band.
Always.
but is what do people do? I mean, to help you raise money for these things, for the care packages you mentioned, the grants and all. How do they go to your website? What do they do?
Yeah, we have a website, cocktailsandcaregivers.org, and from there you can sign up to become a Martini Club member, which you can give a monthly donation of even just $10, $20, and those dollars go straight to making sure that care packages get out every month, and they go to our grant programs, Keeping Caregivers Close. So that's a really easy way to help. You can do a one-time gift or sign up and become part of our monthly kind of family at the Martini Club, where we give you some perks of coming to our events, getting swag early. We try to make it really like a family. When you are a donor, you're more than that to us. We also have like a lot of caregivers that actually attend our fundraisers. And so you can sponsor a caregiver to attend a gala or a luncheon. And so there's a lot of ways that you can definitely help. And even if it's not financial, just letting a caregiver know that we're out there and nominating them on our website. We'll take it from there, because I know that there's so many people that need us and maybe don't even know that we're there. Right.
Well, man, I can't thank you enough for joining us here this morning. And let me go ahead and top it off, because there's been a new fairy tale that's come along too, because you have remarried to a wonderful guy who your dad and I have talked about. He's a great guy, and you have a new baby.
We do, yeah. Life moves quickly, and when Joe was dying, he said to me something. I really want you to remarry. I want you to hurry up. I don't want you to take a very long time. because I want Mira to have a dad. And I was like, okay, yeah, no pressure. So that did not happen quickly. I was alone and with Mira for a very long time, and it took a while to find the right person. But when I met Chris, it was very easy to know that he was the perfect person to step in, and Mira calls him her bro daddy.
I love
so
it.
He is the perfect bro daddy, and he helps us honor Joe by being at all of our events and caring for Mira. And then we have a new baby, Remy. So we welcomed Remy into the world in February, and so Mira is like big sister mode.
Oh boy!
And it's just one of those things, that the heart can change and love grows in weird ways, and we feel really lucky to be here, and I know Joe would be really happy for us.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Hoosiers, helping Hoosiers across Central Indiana. Find more information about how we can support your charitable organization or promote an upcoming event at WFMS.com.
These are our friends and neighbors on 95.5 WFMS.
Good Sunday morning to you. Steve Stewart here with another edition of the WFMS Friends and Neighbors Community Program. And joining me this morning is Brent Burris. He's the Vice President from Blue Angel Connect. And Brent, good morning to you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Blue Angel Connect. I mean, what's your mission statement? Kind of fill us in about who you are and what you do.
Well, Blue Angel Connect was actually started back in 2016 by my then 11-year-old daughter, Nicole. I was still a police officer at that time, hadn't retired yet, and she wanted to change the perception of the way people viewed police officers in the county. And so we started this mission or this organization, and we came up with a program that we do every year at Christmas, which is kind of our annual thing. And we, as police officers, delivered presents to deserving families in Hancock and Henry County. Again, we wanted to just show, people that police just didn't always write tickets and take people to jail.
Right.
We were part of the community, and we like to help out the community too. So we started doing this thing, and again, that was all started by my daughter.
Okay, now you said a lot in that statement right there. Let's break it down just a tad bit here. So you said your 11-year-old daughter, your then 11-year-old daughter, Nicole, actually had the idea for Blue Angel Connect, and that's because she wanted to pretty much just change the perception of the way, law enforcement was viewed in the community, right? Because it's like you said. I mean, and a lot of people don't get this. Police officers do a lot more than just enforcing laws and giving out tickets. So that's kind of how it got started, right?
That's correct. And like I said, we wanted to show people that we do other things in the community besides just doing those things. So, yeah, we started working with deserving families in the county, and we'd surprise them on Christmas. What was really cool is they had no idea we were actually coming. It was all a big surprise when the police cars showed up in front of their house.
Yeah. And where are you located?
We are located out of McCordsville.
And then the communities that Blue Angel Connect targets, what are those?
Right now, we just serve Hancock and Henry County.
Okay, that's currently, and that could change. And told us a story there about your daughter getting things started. And you mentioned your annual Holiday Hope Christmas program. That's what you're best known for, right?
Correct. We've been doing that every single year, and that's, again, how the organization got started. And we would get names from different organizations within our community, whether they be the school corporations, towns, churches, whatever. They would submit names to us for families who could use a little help during Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And we would take those names and kind of go through and see all the families that we could help. Again, it depended on how many donations we got throughout the year, because this program was totally funded on donations we received throughout the year. So the more donations we received, the more families we could help. And for the first several years, like I said, we'd show up to people's houses with police cars. Some of them would get pretty freaked out when they saw 3 or 4 police cars with red lights pull up in their driveway. They didn't know what was going on until they saw Santa Claus get out. Then they kind of, felt a little bit better. And then we started pulling presents out of the car. So that was an awesome program we did. And then after I retired several years ago and the pandemic started, we started hosting this same event at the Buck Creek Fire Station out in Greenfield. So we'd have the event where the families would come there. They'd get to meet Santa Claus, and we'd give their presents to them at this event. And that's how we've been doing it for the last several years.
Okay, and how would a family get involved, or do they need to sign up for the program to the Holiday Hope Christmas program there at Buck Creek Fire Department, or how does that work?
So what we usually do is we'll have come sometime about the 1st of November. We have an application that people can go to on our website and download it, fill it out, and send it back to us. That's one way. A lot of times the families, if they have children in school, they'll notify the school counselors, and those counselors will contact us and say they have a family that needs help. So several ways they can reach out to us.
Okay, again, I'm speaking with Brent Burris. He's the Vice President of Blue Angel Connect. And I want to point out real quick that everything Brent and I are talking about this morning, you can find at their website. And that website is blueangelconnect.org. So anything you hear us chatting about this morning, if you need more information, just hit that website, blueangelconnect.org, and you will get all the info you need. Now, we talked about that Holiday Hope Christmas program. That's your big one every year, but you do other things throughout the community as well. Pick a couple things and just share those with us, if you would, Brent.
Well, we've also done a chili cook-off to help some organizations here in town. That turned out pretty well. It was our first annual chili cook-off we did. We also revitalized the Sheriff Grass Memorial that is actually out in Shirley, Indiana, out in Hancock County. The memorial for the sheriff who got shot in the line of duty. Mm-hmm. The memorial he had there was kind of looking a little ragged, so we got donations from the community, and our group actually went out there and redid that whole memorial for him to get it looking nice and kind of up to date and stuff. So there's a lot of things we do, and trying to get involved in more things in the community as well.
And Brent, I noticed an event you had, the Camp with the Canines. Tell us about that.
Oh, that was a very cool event too. We actually had a camping event for the weekend at the Indianapolis KOA in Greenfield, and people got to come in, and we escorted them to their sites in the police cars with red lights on. We did a event on Saturday that weekend where we gave a demonstration of how the police dogs work. We actually had people dressed up in the bite suit, and we showed how the police dogs apprehend somebody out of a car or chase somebody and take them down. People got a big kick out of that, and they like to see that. And that all went for supporting the canines at the Shirley Police Department.
Right on, right on. And again, the mission statement of Blue Angel Connect: work with public service agencies and other local organizations to provide services and needs to the community. And Brent, when it comes to accomplishing that mission or, meeting your goals, it takes a couple things. I mean, it takes volunteers and it takes money. So let's talk volunteers first. If someone's listening today and they're out in the Hancock County, Henry County area, and they want to volunteer to help out, how would they go about doing that?
Well, we are always looking for volunteers who've got, other talents that we may be missing to come to our organization. We have a very good group of volunteers on our board that work for us now, but we're always looking for more ideas and some more help. Definitely reach out to us for our website, contact us, and we would love to talk to you about something like that.
Okay, and again, what's that website?
It's blueangelconnect.org.
And remember that website, because we talked a little bit there about volunteer opportunities and how Blue Angel Connect can always use fresh ideas, new faces, this and that. So volunteers, very important. But again, money and funds are also important. So again, Brent, the website, the place someone would go if they're listening this morning and thinking, hey, I want to help out this Christmas, I want to donate some money, just go to the website, right?
Correct, yeah. Just again, it's blueangelconnect.org. There's actually a tab at the top of the page called Donations. You can actually click on that. There's a QR code there. You can select the amount of donation you'd like to give to us. No donation is ever too small. Again, the Holiday Hope program that we do every year is completely funded by those donations that we receive throughout the year. So the more donations we receive, the more families we can help at Christmas time.
Right. And you mentioned that there were some fundraisers that you put together to help raise money for those families as well. And I tell you what, you've got a pretty cool fundraiser coming up. Tell us a little bit about Dinner with Chips.
This is so exciting. I'm so excited to talk about it. We actually have Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox from the 1970s, 1980s television show Chips coming here to Indianapolis in October to help us with our fundraiser for Holiday Hope. It's a 2-night event. On Friday night, October the 20th, they're actually going to be at the Sheraton at the Keystone Crossing Mall in Indianapolis. We're doing an autograph event. So you'll be able to come there. You can bring memorabilia for them to sign. They'll have headshots they can sign. We'll have a photographer on site that can take your picture with the guys. That's from 5 to 10 o'clock, again, on Friday night, October the 20th. We also have one of the CHIPS bikes there as well. So you'll be able to take a picture in front of the bike if you want. So that's really cool.
Okay, that's Friday, October 20th, and you're talking John and Ponch from CHIPS, right?
Correct. Yep, the stars of the show.
Larry Wilcox and Eric Estrada going to be in town for this fundraiser. 2-night event. Now, we're only on night number 1. Again, CHIPS, the TV show, it aired for 6 seasons from 1977 to 1983. And the first night, like you said, is kind of a autograph opportunity with Larry Wilcox and Eric Estrada. That's going to be Friday, October 20th, the Sheraton Hotel at Keystone at the Crossing. What time does it get started, Brent?
It gets started at 5 o'clock, and it's going to run until 10.
And ticket info.
Tickets are still on sale at our website. Again, if you go to blueangelconnect.org, click on the tab at the top that says More. When you click on that, it'll drop down a tab that says CHIPS, and all the information is there for the event on Friday night.
Okay, very cool. Let's head to the next night. Saturday, October 21st. You've got dinner going on there in Greenfield, correct?
Correct, and that's even more of an exciting night. They're actually going to be here for a dinner at the Bradley Hall in Greenfield. It's downtown Greenfield, actually. The dinner is going to be from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. We have a cocktail hour, then we're going to have a sit-down dinner, and then a question and answer session with them as well. So very exciting night.
And the dinner with CHIPS, they're in Greenfield. What time does that start?
That gets started again at 5 o'clock. It's a cocktail hour from 5 to 6, and then we'll start dinner at 6. Listen to a little music. There's going to be a band there called Three of Heart. We'll be playing a little music for us, a little dinner music. And then probably about 8 o'clock, we'll have a question and answer session. And I know a lot of people look forward to this because everybody's got questions about the show of what happened, why they did this, how did they do this, and they're going to be there to answer all those questions.
And tickets at the website, right?
Correct. Actually, tickets were going to go off sale the first of this month, but we had such a big calling for them that we extended that. So we're going to run that until the end of September, but the tickets are going fast. So I'm saying if you want tickets, you need to go on our website and get them now.
Head that way, blueangelconnect.org. Let's rehash this real quick. Again, this is an opportunity both evenings for you to hang out and mingle with John and Ponch, Larry Wilcox and Eric Estrada, the stars of the TV show CHIPS, which aired for 6 seasons from 1977 to 1983. First of all, it's 2 nights. Now, can you get tickets? Say you're like, oh man, I want to go. I'm only available Saturday. Can you get tickets just for Saturday?
Yes, you can. They're 2 separate events, and actually on the page on the website, there's 2 different QR codes that you can click on. One is for one's for the autograph show, or one's for the dinner. You can pick one, you can pick both, but we would love to see you at both if you can make it.
Absolutely, and if you want autographs, it's the first night dinner, chance to mingle with them, Q&A, live band dinner is the second night. So again, Friday, October 20th, going to be at the Sheraton Hotel at Keystone at the Crossing. It's a photo op, autograph with the stars of CHIPS, John and Ponch, Larry Wilcox, and Eric Estrada. Get started at 5 p.m. Tickets available at the website, blueangelconnect.org. And then the next night, Saturday, October 21st, there's going to be a dinner with CHIPS at Bradley Hall in Greenfield. That's going to get started at 5 p.m. Going to have a cocktail hour, give you an opportunity to mingle with the TV stars, Larry Wilcox and Eric Estrada. Tickets available again at blueangelconnect.org. The money raised all goes to Blue Angel Connect and their Holiday Hope fundraiser. And the website, everything Brent and I have been talking about this morning, just go to blueangelconnect.org. Again, my guest this morning has been Brent Burris, the vice president from Blue Angel Connect. And Brent, thank you so much for the time. Keep up the good work, and hope you have a couple big nights on October 20th and the 21st.
We are so looking forward to it, and I can't thank you enough for giving us the time to talk about this event, and we hope to see you all there.
Get in touch and tell us about your charitable organization or upcoming event at WFMS.com.
This has been a Friends and Neighbors Community Show. Thanks for listening.